Welcome back to the vlog. Welcome here to Awena, Papua New Guinea. My name is Ryan. We're going to go ahead and get started because we're kind of on a slope on a nice steep runway. I don't want my fuel transferring over before we take off and throwing me out of balance. Alright, well for starters I'm just looking at my NG here, watching my ITT, the rate of it's going up. And peaks out at 684. And throw our prop forward. So anyway, this is a 17% slope mountain runway. Always exciting. About 170 kgs under my maximum amount that I can actually take off out of here. Grass is a little long and a lot long on the right side, so I'm going to just have to remain just a couple feet left of my left center or my center line, just so I'm not going in the tall grass to get out of here, but we will be okay. I'd line up without hitting my wing on this hill over here. Put a stick out here so I can have an idea where I actually want to line up. Right. There you go. Nose wheels straight. Throw it in beta for a second. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of my plane ready. Generator on, alternator on, aux bus, we'll throw our lights on. We'll throw this air on for all of us because we're all melting in here. There we go. Okay, just want to make sure I've got all my weights set in here properly so that my rotate speeds are correct. We're at 560 kgs. I'm sorry, no, 292 kgs, 560 pounds of cargo and MIC configuration and all of that, or 860 pounds on the fuel. We've got 168 available kgs left over that I can take off out of here with my takeoff penalty of 370 kgs. So, we're still good there. Orsby 6622 November Tango Kilo, taxi.
November Tango Kilo, Morsby, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, taxi Awena, Denungat, 6 BOE.
November Tango Kilo, no reported traffic.
November Tango Kilo. All stations, Awena 120.7, November Tango Kilo will be departing Awena for Denungat. Up on track 053, we'll be on climb 900,000. Actually, it might be 11,000. Alright, fuel caps and selectors are both on. We'll turn our terrain awareness system off so it's not yelling at me for takeoff. Our switches and instruments have 11,000, but I'm just going to go to 9,000, I think, just to stay out of NADZEB airspace, but we'll see if that actually works or not today. Switches and instruments are all good. Flaps are set, indicated, and verified at 20. Our trim, let's go ahead and set up our full right rudder trim, get our elevator trim. Okay, so my safe abort point at this point is basically brakes release. After that, I don't know if I can even stop on the way all the way down the hill. So brakes release is my continuing. We would have to go off the runway anywhere. I think I would go off to the right. There's some houses to the left. After takeoff, we're just going to basically make a right-hand turn out pretty quick. Looks like the clouds are already raising up quite a bit more than when I came out here just a half hour ago. After takeoff, we'll pitch your 85, consider EPL, consider feather, right-hand to lower terrain, 85 then 80 full flaps. Alright, ignition, inlet, and lights are done. 34 at 5,000, so 1240. Let's just verify that. There's no way that it's 35 degrees out. It's just blowing the exhaust over. I'm going to go with 30 degrees. 1270 for 1320. That sounds better. Mission condition. Flaps 20, fuel, and harnesses. Alright, here we go. Rotating at 60 knots. I think we're going to start sliding here pretty soon. I'll lock my elbow in. A soft field, short field takeoff at the same time. Rotate 60. 1270. Ignition, condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. All right. Your speed's alive. There's our 60. My torque back just a tiny bit. That works. Always exciting, even for me. All right, now that we're out over the valley, we're going to go ahead and go 10 degrees of flaps now that we're over 85 knots. Just keeping it a nice standard rate turn all the way around. We'll go 0 degrees and start bringing our prop up back to 2,000 RPM. So stay tuned because the landing out here at Dunugget's going to be exciting too. Probably just as exciting as landing here, that's for sure. Let's get this on the big screen so I can see what I'm looking at here. And see where ADZAB airspace is. Yeah, 8,000 feet, so I'm going to have to get an ADZAB airspace clearance anyway, so we might as well just go on up to, let's see, how long of a trip is it? 26 minutes? Yeah, we'll go on up to 11,000. Moresby 6622, November Tango Kilo, departure.
November Tango Kilo, Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, departed Owena, time 3-4, tracking 052 on climb 1000. Estimating Dunugget on the hour, requesting clearance to transit ADZAB airspace at 1000.
November Tango Kilo, second departure time only.
Time 3-4.
November Tango Kilo, no reported traffic, stand by for clearance.
November Kilo. So he's going to give me clearance just so I can pass through ADZAB's airspace. They're going to be 118.6, so I can go ahead and set that up. Plus 1239er, we'll get that set up as well. That's my next one. 118.6, that is ADZAB approach. And then I've got 113.9. It's not picking it up down here, but in a second we'll show you. This is going to be the ADZAB actual VOR, and they're going to ask like the distance from it and the radial so that they can get a picture, because this actually isn't, they don't have radar, so they have no idea where I am. They just go off of radials and things like that. The autopilot just kicked in as far as like connecting in with my nice little magenta box line. We're going to be going into their airspace here in the next box up, it looks like, 8,000. So I need to make sure I get my clearance before we go into there.
November Tango Kilo, Moresby clearance.
Go ahead, November Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, ATC clearance to transit control airspace. Check 052, transit at 1000.
Clear to transit ADZAB 052 heading, maintain 1000, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, 40 miles ADZAB, contact ADZAB approach on 118.6.
40 DME, contact ADZAB approach, November Tango Kilo. All right, well, 40 miles, we're coming up to that right now, like I was saying earlier. We just got to an altitude where we can actually pick up the VOR, so we're 42 miles, so I'm going to call him in just 2 seconds from now. But what I'm going to tell him is I'm going to tell him my radial coming off of the VOR, so that would be 265, passing the 265 radial, so he can draw kind of a line mentally. Oh yeah, you're right over there. Our indicated's up to 130, we'll bring our torque on back to 1250. There's just a little bit of pressure on the left rudder pedal. ADZAB approach, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, another approach. Good morning.
Good morning, November Tango Kilo. 40 DME on the 265 radial. Tracking 052, maintaining 1000. Estimating Dunugget 57.
November Tango Kilo, report crossing the another 300 radial.
Report passing the 300 radial, November 10 Kilo. Right, now that I'm on basically autopilot on nav GPS steer basically, I'm going to turn my heading bug right here all the way down to the 300, or I will forget. 100% for sure, I will forget. But let's go ahead and bring open the strip chart for Denunget while things are now evened out, going slow. I was already in here this morning earlier on another flight. Okay, so elevation is 5,000 feet. Touchdown zone is 4,900, so we're actually going to fly the pattern at 5,900. Touchdown slope says it's a 4.3% slope, but it's actually like a negative 4.3% slope. You actually land downhill. Like when you come over the threshold, that's where I just pull power, and I don't even change my pitch. I'm keeping my pitch like I'm going down to the ground. I don't flare, I just basically just sit there and hold it until it just falls and settles onto the ground. So that's a little bit different and very awkward the first few times you do it. And after you've done it a few times, then you're like, okay, that's not, you have to like mentally tell yourself, don't flare, just sit there and just let it touch down. It's very odd. And then it eventually gets up into a percent slope. It's 305 feet long, or 398 meters, so it's about 50 feet longer than a Wayna, but it's a good portion of it's flat. So stopping, if it's slippery, can be a problem, but it wasn't slippery this morning, so should be no issues there. Landing on runway 11, we'll be coming over this ridge of 6,300, flying around. We won't see this whole mountain right here. We actually won't even see the airstrip, like the whole pattern, until we're like on our late downwind kind of thing. That's where I use my OBS to line up my runway so I know I'm parallel with it, when to turn, and all these different things, all my key positions. So, I know some people fly with, you know, by intuitive feel and everything. I don't. Like, I've just set up like very specific like key positions at key altitudes, and I know that those work. So I can remember numbers really easy, so I just know I need to be at very specific spots at very specific airspeeds, and it works every time. So I'm looking ahead right now. All I see is just a bunch of clouds up there. I'm only 11 minutes out. My top of descent is just 4 minutes out. And I'm looking for the ridge that goes over into the valley. I'm at 11,000. I need to be at like 9,000 to get over the last ridge, and then it's only like a 7-mile run from the ridge to Denunget that I'll have to lose like 3,000 feet. So I'm kind of contemplating, do I want to start my descent now and then have to figure out if I can still get in. I don't know if this cloud layer right here, from what I can see, is actually touching the ridge, making it more difficult to get through, or maybe it's all the way to the ridge and there's no gaps. So I don't want to like start my descent until I know what the best option is, because then I'm just going to be climbing and descending, wasting my time going up and down.
November Tango Kilo, report DME and radio crossing this time.
Passing the 285 radial, 1000, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, and go ahead your DME.
Apologies, 28 DME.
November Tango Kilo.
I think once I get over this next cloud right here, then I'll be able to see if I can see the ridges, start my descent. I'll be pretty dang close to the top of descent at that point, and then I'll have
Alpha Tango Charlie, report DME.
And I'll have to request clearance to start my descent.
Alpha Tango Charlie 53 DME.
Alpha Tango Charlie, descend now to 9,000, report 30 DME.
Descend now to 9,000, and okay, Alpha Tango Charlie.
I was out here about 2 hours ago, and the ridges were clear coming out of there. All these clouds were quite a bit lower. So I think I'm going to request to start my descent here, right about where these clouds are right here, and I'm hoping that it's clear, but I still don't see any ridges up there. I think if I had to climb, I'd have to climb up to at least 12.5 or something, I'm thinking, to get over top of these clouds, and I don't want to do that.
Alpha Tango Charlie, leaving.
Have to descend way down really fast.
48 DME.
Alpha Tango Charlie.
I'll call him at 300 radial, and I'll ask him for my top of descent at that point. I'm starting to see the mountain that I need to go over, but I'm still not seeing any definite ridges, though. Heads up approach, November Tango Kilo, crossing the 300 radial, 24 miles, DME, requesting to leave controlled airspace on descent to Nugget, estimating to Nugget 57.
November Tango Kilo. You please leave control airspace on descent to Dinangit. Area QNH 1009, contact mostly on 123 decimal line on primary, secondary ages 8861 or 5565.
Vertical track. Vertical track.
40 radial.
At the 340 radial, contact Moresby 123-988-615565 and cleared to descend over Kilo. Good day.
Good day.
Okay.
Approach, good morning again.
Lima. 340 radial, that's when I'm going to contact them. So I'm still staying in his airspace, basically, is what he's saying, until I get to that. Okay, I'm starting to see heading mode, start my descent, make a left-hand turn. I'm starting to see a ridge over there a little bit.
5 mile final, runway 27. And you'll be number 2 in the landing sequence to an ATR inbound from the east.
And I'm just going to go ahead and pull power just a little bit now, just because I got a little bit late on my top of descent because I was talking with him and my brain power was just being used up. Alright, so maybe some ridges over there, off to the right.
Copy, number 2 to Alpha Tango Charlie, standing by for descent, expecting visual straight in, way 27, Kilo Sierra Lima.
Kilo Sierra Lima, Alpha Tango Charlie's estimate is...
Right, I know I need around 9,000, maybe 300 to get through these mountains, so...
Charlie, request if possible.
I'm really not seeing anything that's looking helpful right this minute.
Passing the 097 radial.
Well, we'll continue more over here to the left.
300, request first position direct to the field.
Like, why don't you just go above the clouds, or why are you choosing to go down to 9,000 even though you're not seeing any ridges whatsoever? It's because I'd have to go climb up to over 12,000, probably, I'm guessing, looking at it, maybe 12,500, 13,000, something like that. If it's higher than that, maybe I miscalculated how high it is, then I would have to go up to 14,000 for my minimum safe, and then I have to drop down all the way back down to 6,000. So I'd rather start my descent, hope for the best. Yeah, you just don't know with weather here in Papua New Guinea. I'm gonna basically head up to this lighter area, get as close to the ridge line. That's where the ridge line is the skinniest, and that's where I'm hoping that the clouds will be the less, or the least amount of clouds is right where it's the skinniest. I'm pretty much at the altitude that I was going to though, so we'll see. I still don't see any ridges out there at all. Still not seeing any ridges whatsoever, and it's 7 miles away. Actually, no, wait, there is a ridge.
Kilo Sierra Lima descent to 10,000.
Okay, that's pretty tight in there. I'm going to go a little bit further. If there's a ridge showing through there, then I'm hoping that there's a ridge on the next one, but what I might be able to do is go down below. Yeah, it's looking better now. I might go down below the clouds and then kind of work my way back up. I'm gonna go a little bit further to see, but that's an okay option. I'm gonna look for a better one first. Yeah, it looks now from this angle, it's looking a lot more open in that area. Maybe not on camera, or maybe it does show more on camera. I don't know. Hoping that I can start to see maybe a tiny bit of a ridge in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just push my prop forward, slow on down. I'm coming up to these clouds pretty quick. 10 degrees of flaps. My fuel back on, turn my TAWs off, which it already is. There's 20 degrees of flaps. We're slowing on down. Bypass lights on. All right, I see a ridge here, but I'm not seeing a lot on the other side. It's just a, okay, no wait, yeah, there's a hole. All right, see, it's better just to take the safer route. All stations to Nungat, Kodiak November 10 Kilo, 8 miles to the west, 9,000 on descent, circuit 57 to Nungat. Moresby 1239er, November 10 Kilo. Moresby 8861, November Tango Kilo, transfer.
November Tango Kilo, what's the standby?
Alright, so I've got basically my ridge crossing set up, prop forward, 20 degrees of flaps, 85 knots. That's just giving me time and space to think. I'm going to come over here.
November Tango Kilo, Morphe, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, 6 miles to run, Denungat, on descent, estimated Denungat 57. We'll report again after landing.
November Tango Kilo.
Alright, I am 100% going to make it, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue from this point. Alright, well the valley's sunny. I'm hoping that that does not mean that the winds have picked up, because that's usually what it means. Alright, we've made it. We're going to go back to 10 degrees of flaps. Actually, what we're going to do is come on down here to 6,300 feet, figure out how much descent I'm going to need. Now, let's go 20 degrees so I can slow it down. I want 6,300 feet heading over top of the ridge, go all the way around, slow descent down to 5,900. Looking at the smoke in the valley up here, it looks like it's pretty stable. It's not blowing around tons, maybe a little bit off to the right, but up here it's showing a little bit from the right, so I don't know. 5,900, so 66 knots on a final. Given that there'll be, if anything, I'd rather land with a tailwind here than with a headwind, because that means I'm taking off with a tailwind and I know that I'm going to be pretty full up getting out of here. So I would rather accept a tailwind for landing than to land and then not be able to get all my passengers out because I have a tailwind for takeoff. Windsock is just at the end of the runway on the left side. A glimpse of it here in a second. If we have to go around, power up 20 degrees, pitch for 12 degrees, reset IGT, 740 and right hand turn out. Top end harness is complete. We'll do pencil SAR on the ground. Right, it's hanging limp, so that's good. The goal is to land about 1 cone in from the end. Is what I'm shooting for, or thereabouts. It have been landing just before that, but that's kind of what I'm going for. Went 66, 76, and 86, so 86 on downwind. Slow into 86. Alright, that's perpendicular or close enough. Oh yeah, I can't see the runway at all right now. That's why we set up our OBS. I got my 86 knots, what I'm looking for. I'm gonna go right around that knob over there for downwind. And keep it down. And with only 2 knots, it's definitely rocking me around more than I would think. We're almost to beam the numbers. Working our way down to 5,900, just a tiny bit more. Then we're going to lose 300, 5,600, turning base, and slowing to 76. Right, that big burn patch over there, that's where I'm going to be turning my base. I'm lined up with that. Up on my 5,600 and around 86 knots. Right, turn base. 50 feet high. On to 76. On to 5,400, turning final. 76. 54, a little early, hold my altitude. Alright, now I'm starting to see the runway.
flaps. Checklist is complete. Running final 66 knots. Knots crosswind.
500.
Going on down to 66. Hard time. There we go. Alright, 450 on the descent. 4 knots crosswind, 1 knot tailwind. 550 on the descent. 550 on the descent. Knots crosswind.
500.
550, we're committed. Knots tailwind.
Alright guys, welcome here to Denunget. I hope you guys enjoyed that landing. I sure did. I always enjoy my job every single day. And anyway, if you guys enjoyed it, you think this would be really cool for you to do it yourself, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to try out some of these routes that I do all around PNG, check out the link below to my Patreon page. I actually post a lot of these same flights, and I'll put this one on here as well. And we'll see you guys next time.